Gunnar, thank you very much for taking your time on this very windy Sunday morning, giving us a bit of a background to yourself and what you're doing with the Golden Globe.
Yeah, thanks, sir. Thanks for coming. It's great to have you.
Yeah. So, should we just kick off? Just tell us a bit about yourself and your background and how your journey has started.
It's always been sailing.
Right.
So, but the thing is, it's never been sailing on my own terms. So I'm 59 years old. Had a career in yachting and sailing.
Yeah.
But it's always been on somebody else's agenda.
Right.
And so I thought before I get too old, it's time to do something for myself.
Yeah.
And I don't have the means to go cruising around the world. And I thought, well, there has to be a purpose. And why not have it be the most epic race there is for yachts, really?
Yeah.
It's the Golden Globe race. So here I am with the Mighty Pumpkin here.
And so how did the Golden Globe race kind of journey start? What stopped becoming an idea and became the mission?
Yeah, for me, it was, what can I do for an around the world race? And let's be honest, I'm not going to do a Vendée Globe. I don't have the money or the expertise for that, even though I'm a professional yacht captain, but that's another
So that's more of a kind of professional,
that's
high,
multi-millions
expensive,
expensive fast boats. It doesn't really appeal to me, really, because it's not sailing like most people when you look at these boats around us, where they go 7 knots. You know, that's what most people think about sailing. And I'm not going to poo-poo technology. It's great. But it's foiling. They go super fast speeds. I mean, they're around the world in less than 70 days, which is amazing.
Okay.
So this is a more down-to-earth sailing as it used to be. And that's what appeals to me.
So more kind of back to the basics, would you say?
Yeah.
That's the reason for choosing this race.
It's back to what I know from boats, and I'm not saying there are a lot of young competitors that are in this this modern iteration of the Golden Globe race, but it's what I know, and I'm old enough where I'm celestial navigation. I used that before GPS.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So, and that's critical for navigating in this race, for instance. So, I really think it's cool. It's back to basics, and if the world blows up and the satellites are gone, we'll be fine.
So is that what makes the Golden Globe so challenging, or is there aspects that makes it kind of even more challenging than a normal circumnavigation around the world?
That's certainly a big part of it, is being able to navigate with the sun and stars. I'm sure we'll go into other aspects of it. There's a mental aspect because of the time.
Yeah.
The time duration of the race, which is, if it's fast, it's 230 days or so.
Wow, really? I didn't think it was as long as that.
Yeah,
wow.
It's really, some people have taken as long as 300 days. So it's
just under a year.
Yeah, so there's a very big mental aspect to it, which I have a mental health charity behind me as well, which is going to be good information for them.
Yes, yeah, indeed.
I'm a bit mental anyway, so I think I'm well qualified.
Doing something like this, I think you've got to have a bit of a screw loose, haven't you, really, on your own. So how often do you stop then? It's not It's
solo. It's non-stop.
Oh, it is non-stop.
Unassisted. Okay. And I'll say this without being too dramatic, and people say, no, it's not. It's the hardest, longest, toughest sporting event in the world.
Right.
What else is that length?
Yes.
And takes that much endurance?
Yes.
Then, you're at 218 days at the absolute fastest.
Particularly through the Southern Ocean.
Through the Southern Ocean, which is grinding, and it's months upon months of...
I can only imagine the pain you're going to go through, as well as the excitement.
Well, that beer and cheeseburger will taste that much better when I get back.
Definitely. So, apart from that, is there any other kind of, you've touched on the physical and mental aspects, I suppose, but what does kind of proper preparation involve to take on that challenge physically and mentally?
It takes the right boat. So what you see here is a Hans Christian 34 that I found 2 years ago now, just about 2 years ago in Trinidad. And it's funny, it's a boat that my dad always looked at. When I was a kid, sailing with my dad and as a teenager, he had what I call plastic fantastic boat, because that's all he could afford. But he would look at these boats and just, wow, someday that would be great to have one of those. Never could afford it, but now they're a bit more affordable, because this boat's a 1978.
Right.
So you can find them for a fairly good deal. I found this for, let's face it, I'm on a budget.
Yes.
But for what it is, it's a really good boat for the job. And so That's it's a full keel boat. So to talk about what's allowed,
Yeah.
boats between 32 and 36 feet,
Okay.
full keel, designed before 1988. And this boat is 1978, full keel, but has a really long bowsprit, so it carries a bit more sail area than a lot of the other boats.
Right. And what do you think your chances are of kind of being in the top three, not winning it?
Yeah, I think I have a good chance of finishing. Now, if you look at how many people finished the last race, 3 people out of 22 competitors, starters,
Right.
finished the race.
Okay.
So I'm making every contingency to finish.
Yes.
So I have a boat that's on the heavier side. It's probably one of the heaviest.
Okay.
But that means it's going to survive the Southern Ocean more likely
Yeah.
than the other boats. I'm getting a new mast in. As you can see, the mast normally would be right here. 2 wind vanes in the back, because the biggest problem people have are losing their wind vanes. If you lose a wind vane, that's your steering.
Right.
And so it's single-handed, this race. So if you lose that, you're out. So I have 2. So I'm trying to make sure I finish, because if I finish,
Yep.
I have a chance of being right up there at the top.
Wow. Okay. Well, good luck. So tell us about the yacht and why you chose this one. You've just touched on it. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So the fact that it is a full keel boat, they all have to be a full keel boat. Just means it's that much safer. But there are some lighter weight boats in the race that are full keel. The Rustler 36s, which Jean-Luc Van de Heede used and won in 2018. And then everyone for the 2022 race, the race is held every 4 years.
Okay.
They said, oh, we need a Rustler because the Rustler is so much faster. And then, lo and behold, Kirsten Neushofer, the first woman to win a solo around the world race, had a Cape George 36, which isn't too dissimilar to this boat. Big,
Yep.
heavy, with a bowsprit.
Okay.
She won the race and did quite well. So you never know. And, the Rustlers then didn't do terribly well in the last race. So you just never know. So I really think that this boat is the boat for the race because it's heavier displacement than a lot of them. And if you just look at it, the bulwarks are, big high bulwarks.
Yeah.
And also, they're just beautifully made. Down below is beautiful, and I'm sure you'll get some video down below, and we'll show you down below. It's a really good seaworthy boat.
And what have you had to do anything in particular to get it ready for this race, or what else have you got to do to kind of prepare it?
The boat had a pretty major refit a year before I bought it.
Right.
And then the owners, for whatever reason, they moved on to something else. So I benefited from the fact that no one really wants to go to Trinidad to go buy a boat. I took a chance. And luckily, a lot of the work was done. But obviously a new mast. The mast was original, but not in terrible shape, but why not get a new mast?
Yeah.
An enclosure, you can see this big white egg right here behind us.
Okay.
That's actually made for a Biscay 36 yacht, and the fellow dropped out of the race, and he gave that to me.
So you fitted this for
I modified
the
it
race.
for
Right.
the race because it's really nice to be able to hunker down inside that,
Yeah.
be out of the weather, but also be able to see what's going on around you. So 2 spinnaker poles. So Southern Ocean, I'll have 2 spinnaker poles on either side,
Right.
with dual headsails, so I don't have to fly a spinnaker if it's really the wind's up over 15 knots, which
Okay.
it probably will be most of the time.
Yeah.
So obviously a new suit of sails as well. You're allowed 9 sails, which you might say that's a lot of sails, but as soon as you start counting spinnakers and multiple headsails, the staysail that's here, mainsail, stormsails, so you're at 9 very, very quickly.
Well, then I suppose if you're over 200 days, you need that kind of that backup, don't you?
You do need the backup. So I'll be running a large Genoa on a roller furler.
Right.
So coming across 4,000 miles on my qualifier from Trinidad when I bought the boat, it had hang-on sails. So it was a real workout. When the wind starts picking up, you go, oh my God, I've got to go out to the bowsprit, change the sail again. And so it'll be a luxury to have roller
So
furling.
what part of the boat gives you the most confidence?
Everything, really. When I came across, it was late June, early July, which is supposed to be the calmest time to go across the Atlantic, but then you get days like this where it's blowing a bit, which was great. I had 3 low pressure systems, which really tested the boat. And I've been offshore because it's my career.
Yeah.
So I've done 7 transatlantics, and never in a boat like this. And it made me realize if you just set the sails correctly, you get the wind vane steering right, you go below, and the boat, yes, it's uncomfortable a bit, but the boat just takes care of you, and you just let it get everything set right, and it goes. Whereas these other boats that are more modern design will just be so much more uncomfortable and unwieldy.
So this is like an old pair of comfortable, reliable slippers.
It is. And I've said this before, I don't know how we've gone from, in my generation, where these are more common.
Yeah.
These boats, in the 60s, nice big full keel, they maneuver like crap in a marina, let's be honest, but offshore, they're just fantastic boats.
Okay, and what worries you still a little bit about as you prepare? What worries have you got left?
The mast is one that's just a delay. It just seems, not to name any names, but the mast supplier I'm using is just, every project I've done, it's been a bit of a delay. So hopefully it's a few weeks that I'll be getting that in. Yeah. And Seatross. That's the only thing, really. Thanks to people like Chris with Smart Boat, I've had a lot of good help to get to the start line, so I feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And do you kind of with the new mast going in, have you got to do quite a bit of workup, so to speak, to kind of make sure that you're happy with it?
Yes, I do. May 21st delivery of the mast. If I get it in early June, that gives me about 2 weeks to really figure things out here. And then I'm thinking of jumping down to Plymouth, where Allspars is, who's doing the rig, just to do a final little tweak.
Right.
And then I'll head off for 2,000 miles, because I still have a 2,000 mile qualifier.
Yes.
Everyone does before the start. I'll go out into the Atlantic and then back to France for just waiting for the start.
And it is only 22 competitors, is that right?
There's 26 right now. I think there's going to be a couple people that won't quite make it to the start. There's just, things happen, life happens.
So there's no upper limit for the...
There's 30 max, 30 max.
I thought it was 20 odd, actually 30. Okay. All right, so what about living on board then? What's your daily life actually going to be like during the race?
It can be quite monotonous. People think, oh, wow, there's a lot, people, when they see footage of boats and races, it's usually the exciting things.
Yeah.
Because really, you're going to film the boring parts? Not often, are you? So there's a lot of reading that goes on, and I have a carbon fiber guitar, so I'll play guitar. There's a lot of thinking and introspection, and but to be honest, it is a race. So I always trim the sails, even if I'm doing a boat delivery.
Yeah.
I'm a racer as well, so I'm all about making sure you have the right sails up, but I'm about efficiency and keeping the boat moving. So I think I have I'll have a little bit of an edge where, even though I have a heavier boat, not necessarily the fastest, I'm in it, to go as fast as I can.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of work daily to keep the boat moving.
So do you think with a heavier boat, you're going to have a more stable platform, so to speak?
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a stabler platform. Just the bulwarks, walking around the deck, the cockpit enclosure.
Yeah.
Not everyone has one of those. It's going to be a good stable boat, and then you'll see below. It's also, daily life. A lot of people have stripped their boats out down below, or they've started with not necessarily a beautiful boat. Yeah. This boat has great, beautiful interior woodwork. This butterfly hatch, I'm keeping it. I've done a double pane on it, so if a wave comes and smashes it's very sturdy, and this whole thing is very sturdy, but it lets a lot of light down below.
Yes.
Some people have chopped these right off.
Have they?
Yeah.
Right.
And so I thought, no, I'm not doing that.
Well, it's dark and gloomy, and you were talking earlier about mental health.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're in a dark, gloomy place, that's not good.
Exactly.
Surely.
Yeah.
So having light is beneficial.
Before I bought this boat, I looked at a competitor's boat who did it in 2022, Guy Waits. A nice boat. It was a 35 foot trade wind. But it was so gloomy down below.
Yeah.
And I said, I couldn't imagine spending all that time.
No.
And he didn't take one book either, so that's another thing. How do you go around the world not have a book?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I have a heavy boat anyway, so a couple hundred books.
It's certainly going to be good for detoxification from digital toys that we have nowadays, isn't it?
If somebody blows the world up, I'll be no less the wiser.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you go about sleep and food and carrying out regular maintenance and things like that?
Yeah, daily walk around to check things out in the morning. get a good walk around, check for chafe, things like that. I'm a big coffee fan. I can't function without a cup of coffee, so make sure I get the coffee going. It doesn't have to be the top notch. Nescafe will do if it's rough.
Fair enough.
But if I can grind some coffee, I'll do that. And food's important, so there's going to be a mixture of freeze-dried and canned food. The French do some really nice canned food, so...
Well, you would expect that from the French,
so
I suppose.
I have about 120 days of freeze-dried food. Quite expensive, but you know, it's one of the most important things is having that comfort and being able to eat well.
Okay.
So there's that. Sleep is you'd be surprised. Like you get more sleep than you think. So sometimes if the weather's decent, you know, I'll just go hours. And I mean, there's on the transatlantic, I went full night's sleep a couple of times. You know, just because I woke up and just went. 7 o'clock in the morning. I've had a good night's sleep.
Happy days.
Yeah, you know, because we have, you know, to get back to we're racing like it's 1968.
Yes.
With celestial navigation, a taffrail log for speed, and but safety-wise, it's all very modern.
Okay.
So EPIRBs, we have a Echo Max radar receiver.
Yeah.
So if a ship is in radar range and has a radar on, which most would, we'll get an alarm that gets pinged on the boat. So for sleep, and I hear that, I go, oh, okay, there's a boat I need to go probably check on.
Yeah.
And then also there's an AIS alarm for, you know, ships will also have AIS. So if I'm pinged by AIS, I can't see the ship, but I'll know that there's AIS.
There's something
around.
out there. Yeah. Okay.
So there's that will help with the sleep, helping me feel more comfortable getting a bit of sleep.
Okay. What you're talking about that is really interesting. But so, what do you think people kind of most misunderstand about solo sailing? Because it is a very niche sport, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I think it's becoming more popular. You know, the French obviously love it, and the French think we're rock stars. You know, I went down to the skipper's press conference in November in Sable d'Olonne, which is the capital of solo offshore sailing. The Vendée Globe starts from the same pier where, you know, we're leaving from. And I was sitting with a couple of the previous skippers, and people just coming up asking for autographs.
Really?
It's amazing. So yeah, I think the solo sailors are revered. Let's face it, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you know, we'll talk again about the mental aspect of it, I'm sure, but it's really the toughest thing to do. But having run racing boats with some of them up to 14 crew here in the Solent for the Rourke races, sometimes it's a lot harder sometimes to deal with 14 people than it is to go, you know, if I make a mistake, I don't have to yell at anyone.
Yes.
I yell at myself.
Building a team takes a lot of time and effort.
It's a lot of time and effort. Yeah. I like a team. I do like crewing.
Right.
I like the camaraderie, but I also like the simplicity of being solo. And we're not all crazy, no matter what. You know, some people, there are definitely some crazy people, but I think if you look at Sir Robin Knox-Johnson, who did the 1968 race, he's a pretty grounded guy, you know?
Yeah.
Now, Bernard Martissier, the Frenchman, if any of the people watching this know that 68 race, he's this enigmatic Frenchman who was going to probably beat Sir Robin Knox-Johnson to the finish. And he got into the South Atlantic after already going around on the home stretch and said, forget this race, I'm going to go to Tahiti. So yeah, he's a very more esoteric solo sailor.
One place I've always wanted to go to is Tahiti.
Well,
so I don't blame him, actually. So Smart Boat, they're one of your sponsors. So how did that relationship come about?
It was being at the Southampton Boat Show, which, you know, one of the biggest boat shows here in the UK. And it was really great to have 10 days of the boat at the boat show. And you meet all sorts of people, and Chris was one of them who came by and just said, this is really cool. And I know where he's coming from with his integration of state-of-the-art technology, because I'm a yacht captain and work on big fancy boats as well. And he said, we would like to help you. And I said, honestly, how are you going to help me? Because I know what you do.
Yeah.
And you integrate. And he said, well, listen, we can integrate before the start of the race. We can get everything integrated. And he said, how's your wiring anyway? I said, well, I need help wiring the boat. He said, listen, we will help you get to the start, because that's what he does, is all the wiring. He's been fantastic. He came on board, all new batteries, all the cabling involved with that. You know, it's the big heavy duty cabling. He came on board, wired all that up. I have the Smart Boat breaker system, so we got rid of my ancient breakers, moved them all into a watertight compartment, and I got the hard work of leading all the cabling, but he came up with the plan, and it was great that I did all the leading of the cables, because I know how everything is led now.
Yes.
Then Chris would come back and then wire things up, and what's going to be great is to have this black box that he's going to have. I'm going to have the wind indicator. I'll have all the data that can feed into the black box, and when we get the mast in and get the sails in, I then can do the polars for seeing the best angle in different wind conditions. It'll be invaluable to have that Smart Boat knowledge to look at before the race start. So then I'll get a feel for even the 2,000 mile qualifier going down to the race start.
Right.
I'll be able to analyze all of the information thanks to Chris and the Smart Boat
So the
system.
Smart Boat equipment is kind of making your preparation more advantageous, if you like. Is that what's making it more possible for you?
It makes this a more modern racing boat.
Right, okay.
And even though I won't access that information during the race, it's fine, because I'll have months of being able to sea trial this boat with the state-of-the-art Smart Boat system into a black box, looking at an iPad or a tablet, and having the data, and that'll be invaluable to have.
So what Smart Boat equipment have you actually got fitted on board, apart from the wiring?
So right now it's the breaker system, so the Smart Boat fuses that are in there, which is, you know, the heartbeat of the boat.
Right.
Everything's going into that. For a simple boat and a simple race, you wouldn't believe how much actual equipment we have, and a lot of antennas to lead, and different safety equipment and sensors and things that we've led that go into this state-of-the-art system, rather than just a simple breaker switch. It's a really foolproof system that we have. The beauty of Smart Boat is it just is a black box. So it all just goes in through. There's going to be a little bit of NEMA data, so it'd be NEMA 2000 from like the wind data, depth, and, you know, speed over ground and speed through the water. All that
is
data.
what particularly allows you to monitor and to manage that equipment?
With all of that wind angle, wind speed, speed through the water, speed over ground, is really, that's it. I can then get some great data from that. Okay,
and in day-to-day terms, what's the advantage of having that equipment fitted?
Day-to-day is when I'm done with the race, it's just gonna, that's the future.
Right.
Is not having a B&G Raymarine dial.
Yes. Yeah.
Get rid of that.
Yeah.
So I can sail this boat having phones and tablets that cost, you know, nothing. Really.
Yeah, and I've got a copy of the app, and it's great. Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, just and then battery temperature. I mean, if you look at a fancier boat, you know, around in the marina here, then you really can go. Well, the solar panels that I have here on deck, just the Victron solar capability. You know, all of that can go into his system.
Yes.
So yeah, I forgot to mention that there's the renewable energy through the Smart Boat system as well, monitoring just battery capacity, amp use, watts from the solar panels, is going to be great. So to be able to look at all that data before the race start is going to be great, and then afterwards as well.
And what do you think is the most useful feature of all the Smart Boat equipment?
I mean, what's been invaluable for Chris's work has been just his knowledge of nuts and bolts, hard work, getting battery terminals proper, and that's a bit of an art, you know, and getting that done. That's been invaluable. But the other side of it is the future of yachting, just having it all on a tablet and all integrated into one black box, and it takes away so much mess on board a boat, and wiring and expense as well.
Yeah. And so what do you think other boat users should pay attention to what Smart Boat is doing? What, the development that Chris is doing at the moment.
So whether it's a retrofit or a new build, I would say, if you have older equipment, you might look at a boat that's probably 20 years old. See these boats around here, probably older. NEMA, it's not NEMA 2000. The gauges probably are getting the end of their life. Just get rid of them and get a smart boat system. And then new boat systems. It's just saving money on wiring. It's time. It's the price of copper cable and tinned wire these days and the weight as well. If you have a performance boat, you can just have a digital system that goes in, digital switching, smart boat system, tablets, various tablets. Who cares if your tablet goes dead? You'll have another one. Right?
Exactly.
You could have a stack of them, and just have them throughout the boat. I think that's definitely the future, and it's great to see Chris, such a nice guy, and also a smart guy, come and take this. And I look forward to working with him when I'm back. Because it's my industry as well. To help show how Smart Boat is the way for the future.
It's just incredible what he's done. Okay, just wrapping up, Gunnar, what does success look like for you?
Being happy. So if I finish, I know I'll be happy. And just getting through, and I'm doing this also for others. I've got a really good team behind me. I've got a lot of great sponsors, and success to me is finishing. And if I finish, I have a good chance possibly winning. So, that's success.
And what are you most looking forward to?
A cheeseburger and a beer in Sable d'Olonne after going around.
Can't be that. And finally, kind of just to close down, why should people follow you, and where can they follow you?
So I have my social media, gunnarsales.com, and the Golden Globe Race. .com is a great way to see the daily footage that we'll have on board. So there's going to be 2 hours slot a day. You can see me maybe doing something exciting or maybe something really boring. It could be a nice sunset. It could be a spinnaker change, or I could just be reading a book. But it'll be fascinating. I think it hasn't been done in this race before. So that's where you can find me.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for your time, Gunnar. I really appreciate it today. And wishing you all the best and good fortune.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming.
Cheers.